Good afternoon, everybody. It's serotonin. Today we're going back to Guildwood Park, or Guild Park, and I wanted to reference a video actually that where I talked about Guild Park originally, and then based on this video, I actually went to go visit there. And I'm going to show you my findings, and I'm going to sort of walk you along my timeline and my discovery and what was basically going on for me and what I was seeing. Then I'm going to show you pretty much where it is. We're going to talk a little bit about what is the narrative about the place and what the definitions of different things mean. And well, there's going to be a bit more of that as we go through. But the other really interesting thing is quite actually a lot of the information that was confirmed for me was after the fact. Very strangely enough, was actually yesterday. So we went to the place on Friday, and yesterday was Saturday. And I was listening to the Thomas Williams show, the most recent episode from Thursday. And just going to check the OBS. Ew, awesome. And there was quite a few things that was said in this week's episode that confirmed a lot of my suspicions or my questions that I had when I was actually walking through the park. So, initially, and YouTube is being very funny. Actually, this is a good time to mention this. I am being shadow banned, and so I want to not go through my my video right now because they're looking for any reason, I think, these days to shut people down. And if I play my video during my own video, I don't know. But anyway, I've been at my subscriber count has basically been dancing around the 665 let's say mark for about 2 months. And although I'm getting notification in my email that I'm getting new subscribers all the time, they're not showing up. So just double check that you're still subscribed and whatnot. I'm sure if you're getting this, you are. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Definitely being shadow banned. It took me a while to kind of figure that out because I have been kind of moving around a little bit with the old content. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, okay, Guild Park and Gardens. So in this video, I just sort of mentioned that it was very interesting that a lot of these heads at the Guild Park and Gardens look very similar to other heads that you can see around Toronto, these giant heads. And these ones, maybe it wasn't in this building. Yeah, it was right here. There's more. You can kind of see them here. Okay. And they look like foreshortened versions of these guys who look much more like gods and whatnot. Anyway, we're going to get into that more right now. Oops. That's my OBS. This is what we want. So as you arrive, this is all sort of spread out on the front lawn, and you've got, there's more, actually, I haven't been able to upload all the pictures, but I really wanted to get this out, and we're going to do a bit more about it later. But anyway, there's 2 stone carvings, I guess, frescoes. I don't know. I'm going to put that question mark out there, like UAP. I'm not entirely sure if I'm getting that right. But anyway, first thing I did when I saw this is I counted the toes, and there are 5 toes. And then I immediately saw this, which to me looks like a very intentional shape. So I don't know exactly what I'm seeing, but I feel like I'm seeing something. Okay, so there's that. Then immediately I felt like this was very similar to the Statue of Liberty, that sort of androgynous Titan thing going on there. And then it is cradling the round of North America, the flat disc of round North America. Then on this side, you've got this same Titan, this same androgynous Titan, and again, the shape at the end of the cape to me is saying something. And I don't know if I were to put, I don't know if they were flying apart or towards each other. So if I were to put those 2 shapes beside each other, what would I get? So maybe that's something I can do in preparation for the next video I'm going to do on this part, because there's so much here. And then you're like, what's going on over here? So let's get a closer look. So here we have another flat disc of North America, which is literally flipped over on itself. And this to me was pretty much the standout, most compelling. Actually, that's a total lie. This was the first thing that got me going, oh my gosh, where are we? What is going on? Now, one thing you'll see here is it's not a complete carving. So there's a piece missing here. So what's going on there? Why is that gone? Okay. But the rest of it, you can kind of see it in here, but this piece is gone. It's just, it wasn't carved identically. But the rest of it is supposed to look like a flip. Now I'm seeing so many things here, like a shield, right? With a shield, like a family shield on a shield, right? I'm seeing a goat head. Like this is, what do they call these things again? It's the ink blot test. And you know, I'm seeing a goat head or a steer head, or you know, I'm getting all kinds of really creepy, yucky, satanic business going on here. And you know, in a sense, you're seeing you know, a triangle and a triangle, you know. So I don't know what's going on there, but it just slapped me across the face. And this is this was on the North American Life Assurance building, not insurance, but assurance. Okay. So you know what, actually, let's just have a look at that. What's the difference between life insurance and life assurance? Assurance is not a fixed term product. It's intended to cover you until you pass away. Whether that's weeks or decades after you've bought the policy, life assurance is sold as a whole life or permanent insurance and comes in many forms. Okay. There you go. All right. 1932 to 1976, 112 King Street, West Toronto. Architects Marani, Lawson, and Morris. Okay, then we have this. And these are the wolves howling over a man. Wolves by Jacobine Jones, 1898 to 1976. Sorry about it, cut off. It was super bright. Bank of Montreal was 1948 to 1972. So it was on the building for that time. And this is the life, or the lifetime of Jacobine Jones. And this was at King and Bay, Marani and MORP. So we'll see who that was. There's more, there's about 5 more. So I'll have a proper photo of the engraving. But wolves. Okay, so here I want to talk about, actually no, let's just keep going. We'll talk about all the descriptions later. A skunk. Skunk, same thing. Same building, same architect, same artist, same building. Polar bear. Okay, so it was Marani and Morris again. So same people who had those guys up on the titans, we'll call them, the androgynous titans. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I have to go here. Architects Marani and Morris. Let's see what we have here. No, that's not going to help me because I'm not entirely sure what the hell I'm looking at. Marani and Morris Architects. Okay, that's weird. Okay, let's go back to the pictures. I'll deal with that after. Okay. Polar bear. Okay. Beaver. Walrus. Bison. Okay. And I didn't photograph skunk properly, as I noticed, so I re-photographed it. But I also didn't notice that I didn't photograph wolves properly. So there you go. So, you know, kept going, kept walking, and then I see these. Okay, these are all over the place, and they have a center point, and they're carved outwards. And my husband was mentioning the other day, he was like, what if, he's like, they remind me of mirrors. What if they lit up? I don't know if he's onto something or not, but it really got me thinking. Very interesting, okay? And they're all over the place, especially this shape here, right? And you'll see more and more. Then there's these guys, okay? You can see Stevenson over here. There's his head. M. Angelo. F. E. Lays. L-E-Y-S. Ren. Oh, sorry, F.B. Lays. There's Stevenson again, and N. Wilson. And they all have plaques. When I come back to the presentation, I'm going to show you how, who these people are. I'm going to figure it out, hopefully. Okay, this one is very interesting. Okay, so hang on a second. So first of all, I don't know what that is. Pattern or lettering. This I had to literally, it was surrounded by board, and I had to kind of stick my hand down there with my phone, which I, like, you guys know I'm not good at technology. I can't even operate my phone very well, okay? So I stuck my hand down there and I took a picture, and this is what I ended up with. So a lion, everything's lions, okay? With a laurel leaf or something going across it, an oak. This is what completely blew my mind, okay? So this is a bottom stone here, and check this out. Okay. 1809 something. Now either this means chipped away, right? Or it's still more 3D. But somehow this piece here has been taken off. The date has been removed. Okay? Why? Is of course the big question. And what's going on here? And why is it positioned here? This is the top of it. Okay. This to me looks like they are completely incongruent. They have no relation to each other whatsoever. This is not related to the thing it's standing on top of it, and this has nothing to do with this. And I'll show you why. See, it juts out much further than this does. Okay, don't know what the heck this is supposed to be for. And oh, I wish I had a better picture of the top, but it's basically a fleur-de-lis. So it's 4 of these and then a bulb at the top. And I'm so sorry I don't have a better picture of that. Like I said, I don't have all my pictures right now, so there's definitely going to be a follow-up of this. Here's another lion, somewhat desecrated. And more of these tiny mirrors. We'll call them tiny mirrors. You know, and this is the energy and the flower. And everything's beautiful, right? They didn't do gargoyles, these guys. This is not a caduceus. What is this? Okay. This is a very interesting. So it's got something going on here. Then they weave up and they're here. And then there's snaky, snaky, snaky up here. And then snaky, snaky, snaky. Oops, coming up here. And then here. Okay. Right? What is that? And what are these drill holes? Right? What are they for? Why did they take it off the building, and why did they put it here? Now, this is the other thing. This whole place is set up intentionally. So the idea behind it was they took down pieces of buildings in Toronto, and they moved them and set them up like these sort of Roman columns and stuff out here at Guild Park. Okay? Now, as we're walking along at this point, we notice a few things. And one of the things that we've noticed is this. Hang on a second. I have to specifically put Guild Park. No. Okay. Okay, they're saying it's there. It is not. Wow, that is so bizarre. Because it's literally, this is so strange. It's literally right here. This is so bizarre. Why are they doing that? They're putting it way in there. It's like literally here. It is literally right on the edge. Wow. This is very interesting. It's much like this. This is so bizarre. Okay, it's literally on the cliff. There's a drop. There's a massive drop into the lake. Right there. And this is what we're noticing as we're walking along. There's all these signs that say, you know, be careful. Bluffs may give out at any moment. And it's literally beside the park. Okay, these are these sort of two sort of entrance pieces, entrance ways. And they have built, everything is built around it. None, like obviously everything was picked up and moved, but nothing, very few of it was put back in its original place. I'll tell you that. Or very small pieces of, like they've literally taken small bricks and repurposed them to create, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a Roman palace. It's not a palace. It's like a temple. And there's grass everywhere in front, right? So there's like no roads or anything, a couple of like dirt grit paths. So this is what this caduceus, non-caduceus thing looks like, a bit more preserved. I'm sorry I'm sort of sputtering over my words. I'm just like, it was such a alarming and surprising place. Okay, so this is what you see here. No idea what that's supposed to be. This is just a column that was, you know, covered in moss. And it looks like it's got like oak leaves all over it and stuff. And, you know, oak and acorns are often used in paganism. And this to me looked like a dragon or a serpent skin. More of these tiny mirrors. This is like a huge oak leaf, you know, the green man, right? Another one with an acorn. Very chilling. Okay, this is the big thing. This is the big display. This is what they've put it all, everything's there for, right? What does that look like to you guys? Because it creeps the hell out of me, especially knowing that over here, literally over here, like 20 meters is a cliff edge, a drop, complete drop. Then there's this. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, wow. So it's like the destruction of the cross, a black cross. To me, it's a cross falling apart, being blown apart. Right? Super creepy. This is positioned directly in front of the main face right here. You'll see in a minute. I have a better shot that shows proper positioning. There it is again. I don't know why I took two pictures of it. More columns. Okay, there's like a wedding. There's all weddings going on here all the time. It's pretty awful. And more altars with faces. And there's so many more pictures to show. Okay, this one. Hang on a second. This is a Mobius strip. Okay. And Mobius curve, 1982, by Michael Clay, who is the resident guild sculptor. And a Mobius strip or a Mobius curve was another thing that Thomas Williams mentioned in his podcast on Thursday. And Mobius curve or Mobius strip is apparently what we've been locked into by Anu or Set. And our escape is as the cross goes to an X again. X marks the spot, right? Isn't it incredible? Isn't it incredible when you think of it? When you put it all together, when you think of a skull and crossbones and pirates and skull and bones and X marks the spot and just all of it. Just all of it. It's unbelievable. They have the Mobius curve right there in front of the falling black cross, in front of the altar of Roman, possibly gods. All these pieces in there, they feel like they have some kind of benevolent story to them. They feel like they have a history that is obviously being hidden. That was something that wasn't corrupted, something that was different. And I'll tell you why, because we'll get into that at the end of this podcast, or of this video. Sorry, I'm not doing a podcast. What am I talking about? But it is pretty unbelievable. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, these gates, these are the gates that have, okay, this shape is another thing we have to talk about because it is all over a place called Parkdale in Toronto, which is right next to Exhibition Place, which is another video that has to come out this weekend because there's so much information going on there. I'm having crazy insights and questions about that. And this is, if you look this up, this shape, it's these two without the circle, back to back, is associated with Tartar, if you can believe it, in a book of symbology. And if you are unable to find that, I will also add that into the next video. This, if you go down this path, as you can see, there's a big blue sky over there because that's where the lake is and that's where the cliff drops off. So, and behind us at this point, when we're facing these gates, behind us is that Mobius strip, is that black cross that is being blown apart, is that altar of the gods, right? And there you have it. And there's a wedding. These poor people are getting married in amongst this satanic mess. And then, okay, so here you can see it actually right behind the broken-necked swan, which we'll get into after. Can you see those two gates, right, in the background? You keep walking along there like these two people are, and that's the sky, and that's the lake, and that's a cliff, and that's a sign telling you, stand back, because the cliff will give way at any time. And there's a ton of these signs saying step back, otherwise the cliff will give away. And we were like, hey, I wonder if they just have those out because then their asses are covered should anybody whoopsie doodle be found at the bottom of the cliff. This is very creepy, and we'll get into the symbolism of the swan. Then finally, for this particular photo shoot or photo exhibition, we're getting to the very end of this particular part of the thing, of the I'm so excited I can barely think of my presentation. Okay, so center entrance of the Bank of Toronto from 1912 to 1966. Again, King and Bay. Okay, again, Toronto architects. These times it's Carrere and Hastings from New York, and Eustace Bird from the Toronto Associate, or he is the Toronto Associate. So we're going to look into Carrere and Hastings from New York and Eustace Bird. Okay, this is the final piece of my presentation right now. This is yet another head. It's put in a completely different place, and there's a little stone path, and this is where you go through. And we're going to zoom in a bit, and if you can see, every single one of these heads is enclosed. It's got a mouth like a lion's head draped over his head with paws, right? And the tiny mirrors are all around, okay? And inside are the flowers. This is just like a mini Arc de Triomphe, and we're going to get into the Toronto Arc de Triomphe later on. You've got these beautiful ferns growing up here, these shapes, a sun or flower. And if you look over here, you've got the same one. Now, it doesn't come up as high. Yes, it does. I see it is coming up as high. Okay, because I was going to say like the whole Joachim and Boaz thing with the misshapen masts. And then here we go. So this, okay. So it was founded in 1932. I wanted to read, this is part of the narrative. Rosa and Spencer Clark, erected by colleagues and friends of Rosa and Spencer Clark as a tribute to their life work in the conservation, the arts, and other facets of community service. The Guild of All Arts, co-founded by them as a haven for artists and craftsmen, became a cultural sanctuary, attracting visitors from all around the world. Rosa Clark, with her gifted talents, was an inspiration until her death in 1981. When major cities began their transition from classical stone and marble buildings to contemporary styles, Spencer Clark had the foresight to save the important features from over 60 buildings and create Canada's first architectural museum with a Greek theatre as the centerpiece. His collection of sculpture became the nucleus for his vision of a greater sculpture park. The Guild is an integral part of the social fabric of this country, I bet, and has touched the lives of countless individuals, I bet, and groups from every walk of life. It came into public hands in 1978, but Spencer Clark continued its operation and further enrichment until December 31st, 1983. That seems very interesting. And the plaque was donated in gratitude for cherished memories and was unveiled by the Honorable John and O.G. QTBALLO, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. I don't know what the heck all that is, but I did notice there's a Q in there. So, but, oh, I'm sorry about my loud coffee drinking there. Okay, just so creepy. The Guild of All Arts. Just, okay. Boop. So, this is super, super creepy. So they're saying that the Park and Gardens is over here, and it is not. It is just not. Is it? I don't know. I'm so confused. And I don't have this. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not it at all. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm gonna have to go get my plug. Here it is. See, guys? Won't let me get any closer. Okay, so here, the Mobius strip is over here. This is the creep. Okay, there's the amphitheater, right? The gods or whatever. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. Okay, then you're gonna walk down this path. Yep, that's it. And there's the gates are over here, and there's your cliff. And then they go and pick up the dead on this road. And this road is literally called, let us go back. No. Standard. No. I believe they called it Guild Road. Oh my goodness, now look at that. Wow. Okay, I gotta go get my plug. Hang on a second, guys. Sorry for the wait. Okay. I bet you're worried that was going to be a lot longer than it was, but there you go. Okie doke. Okie doke. Okay, so let's talk about what what guild means. Okay, so after all that, I just want to tell you that guild means an association of persons of the same trade or pursuits formed to protect mutual interests and maintain standards. Satanism probably requires you to protect mutual interests and maintain standards, is my guess. When they talk about this, they say here, okay, Guild Park and Gardens is a public park. The park was formerly the site of artist colony and is noticeable for its collection of relics saved from the demolition of buildings primarily in downtown Toronto, arranged akin to ancient ruins. And yet they have all these other sculptures in there that specifically have meaning in satanic terms that were not rescued from anywhere. It's owned by the Toronto Region and Conservation Authority. I'm very interested about that. There's also a whole community around there called Guildwood Park. And this is what's so interesting. It's called Guildwood Park, the Guild Park and Gardens. There's all these different names that it's given. Okay. That we can get rid of. That, here, let's have a quick look at Morani and Morris. So he designed literally hundreds of buildings in Canada from Prince Edward Island to Manitoba. He attended Ridley College in St. Catharines. He did not graduate with a degree. Instead, he trained local offices of Eden Smith and Sons with Swarott and Rolfe. His education was interrupted by the outbreak of World War I. When he enlisted with Canadian Expeditionary Forces, he became a captain in the Toronto Regiment and was posted overseas. So he not only built hundreds of buildings, but he also fought in the war. What a great guy. Wow. Oh, and he's done, post offices. Of course. Yeah, Robert S. Morris, there we go. British-born Morris brought fresh ideas, but emerging. Oh, yes. So he designed the the outdoor grandstand, of course. Okay, well, I'm going to get more into that later. I don't think it's quite as exciting as I thought. It's a bit dry, and I will pick out the juicy bits if there are any. So I want to highly recommend that you listen to this Thomas Williams episode. I'm always talking about him, but he's got really good intel, and he keeps you calm. So if you're freaking out about any of this business, I find he's got a lot of good intel. But I found it very, very interesting to talk about things like reflections and mirror images, which is something that he talked about in this particular podcast. And he also talks about the Mobius strip, which I found very interesting. So now I want to go into the meaning of all these different animals, because this is part of what blew my mind. And I'm not going to get into the biggest, I'm not going to really dig super big into this, because this is already super long and I'm stumbling over my own words already, so it's only going to get worse. So I thought I found a good site here. And it looks like I didn't. Okay, yes, here we go. Okay, so symbols of the great and mighty bison: strength, survival, perseverance, change, adaptability, fortitude, sacred living, grounded, honor, respect, vision, endurance, and abundance. And keep in mind, this is what they took off of buildings that were found in Toronto. So again, strength, survival, perseverance, change, adaptability, fortitude, sacred living, grounded, honor, respect, vision, endurance, and abundance. And these are symbols that they have put at the very entrance of what is, in my opinion, absolutely a satanic temple. Obviously it's perfect for them. It's on a cliff and it's out in nature. Nothing wrong with nature, but they love it too. Skunk, spirit animal medicine. What did I have here? Yeah, okay. So respect, defense, boundaries, barriers, protection, and self-awareness. Walrus. Okay, this I found very interesting. I had to go to a different one. Okay, what is going on here? Walrus as a totem. Represents calmness, care, love, social behavior, kind, and sometimes compliant nature. And I'm really sorry to go off on a tangent tiny bit here, but I was watching a show just recently, and they were talking about the Beatles, and I was remembering the walrus, like I'm the walrus, and the walrus is Paul, and there's of course the whole Paul is dead theory, which I think is incredibly fascinating and totally worth getting into because it talks a lot about different programs, including what are they called? I'm totally having one of those terrible brain fart days. Oh my gosh. Not Langley, but the British version of it. Oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm bothering going on tangents. But anyway, that whole song, I am the Eggman, I am the walrus, there's a whole, nod to satanic sacrifice in that song as well. So, and the walrus was Paul. Was, that was on the White Album. I can't remember which song that was right now. I just don't know why I bother right now. But anyway, I'm going to go on. Okay, there was also a beaver. Beaver symbolism and meaning. Okay, this is pretty funny. Spirit animal, animal totem. Okay, where is that? Meanings. Okay. Breath of life, health, action, dream work, goals, feelings, cooperation, awareness, insight, subliminal messages, comprehension, symmetry, adaptation, family, inventiveness, and productivity. Okay, then when I was looking this up, I found this. Beaver meaning in Urdu. And that got me thinking because is apparently one of the more ancient civilizations. Everything came from the Urs, including Hyperborea. I'm just getting interested in root race history, and it just blew my mind that it was in here, and there was like that. And I just kind of blew my mind. So then I looked up, well, what is Urdu? I'm seriously going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole today. The Urdu language is a member of the Indo-Aryan group within the Indo-European family of languages. Urdu is spoken as first language by nearly 70 million people and a second language by more than 100 million people, predominantly in Pakistan and India. It is an official language of Pakistan, is also officially recognized. Okay. See how old it is. Developed in the 12th century. Urdu is literally the language of the camp. And it's very similar, apparently, to Hindustani, or no, what was it called? I'm just going to stop now. Very similar to Hindi, yeah. Mutually intelligible. Oh, okay. Swan. I got to get through this. My brain is like honking out today. Sorry, guys. Swan symbolism is effortless, timeless, elegance, and beauty. Grace, poise, elegance, calm, beauty, spiritual devotion, energy, healing, messages from angels. The magic of the swan is to shapeshift to an angel. Then I found this really interesting. So when I came back out here, I'm just going to the mage search. And where did I find it in here? There's another interesting one. The other thing I found was that basically the swan also symbolizes transformation, and I'm not finding it now. Okay. Then this I accidentally activated her video, and I had to like figure out a way to get her to be on mute. And where are the words in this one? Sorry guys, I'm really pushing it, asking you to. Sorry if this is making you dizzy. Self-reliance, endurance, keen intelligence, freedom, companionship, extraordinary intuition, and telepathy. Looks like I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Okay. And the last one is polar bear symbolism and meaning. You must surrender to become a master. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this up here, and I'm going to get into the second part of this a little bit later on today. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Godspeed.